Welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway for tonight's Undisputed Cup Series, race number 5 and 6 of the season. Tonight we have the Atlanta doubleheader. Tonight we have two 65-lap races to make the double play 195. So a little different, a little interesting format tonight. So as stated, we will have two races tonight, both 65-lap races, but they will be in the same session. So the first race will be set by qualifying. This is just going to start as practice just wrapped up here. And this qualifying will set the lineup for race number 1. And race number 1 will be 65 laps, scored just like all the other races we've had so far this season. And race number 2 will be set by the finishing order of race number 1. And it will be the same thing. So 2 laps, and we'll have a 10-minute break between to get some interviews from our race winners and our top 3 finishers from race number 1. But currently qualifying just getting underway here from Atlanta, as we'll bring up everything here. But Alex Ponchor, you see him out on the racetrack. Every driver getting onto the racetrack. We'll see who can get the pole here. Championship can be pretty important, especially with a short race, 65 laps. Not terribly long here at Atlanta. Especially with this, since the reconfiguration, 65 laps, not very long here. She's going very fast and keeping so much speed, so much control. Just like a super speedway like Daytona or Talladega, but tires matter a little bit more. So we'll see that later tonight. But currently here is Cameron Craighead out on the racetrack. See what he can do on his lap. Everyone getting on their first lap right now. They have 2 laps tonight to set a pole setting time. So here comes Alex Bonsignor. He's furthest up on the racetrack. Coming across the line. Alex Bonsignor across the line will be a 31.907. That'll put him to the top of the board. As these times are starting to flood in here, Keith Long goes to the top of the board, as these are really just banker laps in here. So here's John Ganas coming through into turn number 1 on his second lap now. Be off the racetrack, but what I want to watch out for, Cameron Craighead. Here's lap number 2 coming off turn 4. Cameron Craighead is going to dive into the apron. Craighead to the line. It's going to be a 31.651. Does not go to the top. He goes to P over 3. Alex Bonsignor to the top of the board. Here's Eric Edwards coming off turn number 4. Derek Riley at the top of the board, 31.588. And most drivers set their laps out. Cody Dorsey coming through 3 and 4, looking to try to get another win. Want 2 races to start 2 of the 4 races to start the year. And Cody Dorsey coming to the line. Can he go to the top of the board? No, he won't. He'll go to 4th there. Cody Dorsey was in a great shot to win it last week, but unfortunately made a very fatal pit road error. As now he's practicing his pit road entry on iRacing. You got to enter down here on the apron under to pit, but you don't have to go pit speed until you get to the pit line right here. So these drivers are going to be practicing pit road. So only one driver yet to complete their lap times. As here comes DJ Moore, the last driver here. Starts his second lap. DJ Moore goes 15th for his first lap at 31.866, but we'll see how much he can pick up here on lap number 2 down the back straightaway. Moore a little high on the racetrack, trying to get that entry going into turn 3 pretty high on the entry. That could cost him a little bit of time. They're hoping the arc, the normal 1.5-mile arc, gains him a little bit more speed, but coming to the line, DJ Moore going to stay up on the racetrack. It's going to cost him a lot of time there, but 31.666, that will put him to 10th, and that will end qualifying, as no other driver has laps to set. So that will leave Derek Riley on the pole for tonight's race, or for the race 1 tonight. It's Derek Riley on the pole. while we have the moment, we're going to bring in our pole sitter of Derek Riley. So, able to get the pole for race number 1 tonight. So, you're going to be able to use that to your advantage, or maybe keep that track position out front. Okay, might be AFK right now, so we'll bring him back in just a few seconds. But Derek Riley, our pole sitter here for our first race tonight, as qualifying just wrapping up. It'll be Derek Riley, Jason Bottoms, Brian Whitcomb, Cody Dorsey, and Alex Bonsignor, the top 5 for race number 1 tonight. This will be race number 5 of the season. So we'll have 2 separate races tonight. So keep that in mind. You know, might seem like 2 separate sessions. So Derek Riley on now back here on the racetrack, but Derek Riley, our pole sitter for race number 5 of the season. So both these races count for double points tonight. So really, none of these races really. I mean, if you have a bad race in the first race, you just kind of have to reset yourself. You can get into that second race, but also you can walk away with a lot of points tonight if you can do very well in both of the races. So, and this is our first super speedway of the season. I haven't really seen it. I haven't seen Daytona Talladega on the schedule yet. We did see something like Auto Club. I can't act like a super speedway. The pace car about to roll off here for the race number 1 of the night. We'll bring up our our starting grid. So Derek Riley by 1/1000th of a Jason Bottoms will take the pole. Jason Bottoms will start 2nd. Starting 3rd tonight will be Brian Whitcomb. Cody Dorsey will start 4th. Starting 5th will be Alex Bonsignor. Sean Bowen will start 6th. Starting 7th will be Cody Pruitt, and starting 8th will be John Ganas. Starting 9th will be Keith W. Long, and DJ Moore will start 10th. Starting 11th tonight will be Cameron Craighead, and Kelly Walton will start 12th. Starting 13th tonight. A little broken. I think that's. Oh, there it is. Popped up for a second. Get back through the field as we'll go through the field once again. Starting 13th tonight will be Eric Edwards, and then Brandon Coots will start 14th. And Kyle Schmitz will 15th, and Dakota Bly will be 16th. And that will be our 16-car field for tonight's race. So these drivers are going to get ready to battle it out for 65 laps. Now, fuel's probably around the 42 to 48 lap range. You can really save a lot here at Atlanta, depending on how much you're saving in the draft and how much you want to push those tires. But tires will definitely matter, and these drivers will have to make a one-stop race in both the races tonight. But 65 laps for race number 5 of the season, and we are underway here from Atlanta for tonight's doubleheader. Round off turn number 2, Brian Whitcomb. Yeah, that is Whitcomb. My ticker's a little unorganized there, but Brian Whitcomb to the race lead. And Derek Riley, he did get a penalty, but I don't know if he's that clear. He'll get that cleared or not. But Brian Whitcomb out to lead early. Jason Bottoms right behind him. And then at turn 1, the top 2 gets a couple car length gap behind. These drivers will try and settle in for the first bit of this race. Derek Riley, though, we'll have to keep an eye on him. Might have to serve his penalty this time by. We'll see. Yes, he will. Derek Riley, not a good start for tonight's race already. Oh, my God, contact up into the wall right in front of him. Sean Bowen goes around hard to the outside wall. No caution. We stay green. Oh, but DJ Moore goes around as well, and that will bring out the caution. So Derek Riley, a little lucky and unlucky there, because now that cannot be served under the caution because he never got on pit road, but he was on the access road. We'll take a look at that one. As this all started down the back straightaway, Derek Riley gets out the line, and Cameron Craighead tries to slide in line as well as Sean Bowen, and that causes an incident there. Now GJ Moore, a separate incident happening right just after that. Oh, just checks up there. He kind of gets ran over. No time to react for a lot of these drivers. Oh, DJ Moore collects a few others. Eric Edwards also involved there. Had a little bit of contact, I believe, but that was John Ganas. Yes, no, it wasn't. It was Kelly Walton. A little bit of contact there. So, multiple car incident all ready to start this race. And also, Derek Riley was able to get that serve, so he will be on the lead lap. So he didn't have to worry about going a lap down. He'll just start from the tail end of the field here. A quick yellow to start this race tonight. Brian Whitcomb able to put it up front. Great qualifying effort, and now he's up in that track position like you want to be here at Atlanta. Typically, once you start to get side by side, it's very hard to move up. You really make it 3 wide, but 3 wide is very hard to manage, and it definitely slows the car down a lot more than what you had hoped for. So these drivers don't really want, they want track position, very important here, typically at Atlanta compared to Talladega or Daytona, but also it can be very important at Talladega or Daytona as well. It also depends on the weather as well. Typically at Talladega, runs are a little bit bigger with and are smaller depending on the weather. So here's our weather for tonight's race here for race number 5 of the season. So race number 1 tonight. 68-degree ambient temperature with a 70-degree track temp, partly cloudy skies, and a 7-mile-per-hour wind, and 99% humidity. So very high humidity there. Brian Whitcomb, our race leader. Jason Bottoms holds second. Alex Bonsignor in third. Scammer Craighead will come down pit road. A few takers, just maybe try to top it off on fuel, fix a little bit of damage. May have gotten tonight, but also that means that wrecked DJ Moore and Sean Bowen having to take their fast spare for this race. So, not a great start. Not a great start for these drivers tonight, but they're going to try, hopefully, and hold on for the next 60 laps. A lot shorter race than what we've seen. We've seen a really long races. Pretty much about half distance of what the real life race would be. Every week in and week out. But tonight we have 2 races that are very short, pretty much not entirely sprints, but pretty short races, only 65 laps. So not insanely long races. These drivers will kind of have a little bit of a pretty good break between both races tonight. For Brian Whitcomb, Jason Bottoms, Alex Bonsignor, Cody Pruitt, and Cody Dorsey will be our top 5. And Cody Dorsey is 2 out of the 4 wins so far, so we'll see if he can make it 3 for 5 tonight here in race number 1. Normally we see him in that StubHub machine. We saw him with that at Legacy, Texas. If you'd like to support the Undisputed Cup Series, make sure to use the StubHub link in the description to support the Undisputed Cup Series and win purchase your tickets from StubHub. Ryan Whitcomb on the front row along with Jason Bottoms. We'll see if we can get this race back underway here from Atlanta for 60-lap shootout. So still gonna have a one stop for everyone that just pitted. But back into the Geico Research Room. We're back on the way here from Atlanta. And a great jump from Brian Whitcomb. Bottom's going to clear in for a second. These drivers are going to try to slot in lane early. Trying to get some extra gaps. As first driver side by side will be Cody Pruitt and Alex Bonsignor, P number 3. Down to the turn number 3 here. As Cody Pruitt still on the outside lane, side by side with Keith Long, no help. I think he's going to try and slot in lane, but doesn't have a hold to get down. Let's see if he can get behind Cody Dorsey here. And he will. Kyle Schmitz right behind him, our last week's winner at Indianapolis from Kyle Schmitz. So he's trying to go back to back tonight. Up front, Jason Bottoms though had a good run on Brian Whitcomb. Moves to the outside. Now he's out. Alex Bonsignor to the outside. So Jason Bottoms wants to control the field out front. He's going to be clear. He's going to control that outside lane, but only 2 cars out there for now. It looks like they might both get clear going down to the turn number 3. Might work. Turn number 1. It might work out for best for them. I got Kyle Schmitz moving up the racetrack a little bit. Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. And now we're starting to see that pack start to form up a little bit. We're starting to see a few cars get on the outside lane. We're starting to see the back tail end of the field start to get packed up, catch up to the main pack. Everyone was very strung out on these restarts. Kind of saw that on the initial start as well, and they packed up really quickly. And a little bit of checkups caused that first caution, but now these drivers taking a little bit more time to get packed back up together. The chase of Adams has Bonsignor, Schmitz, and Edwards in the line on the outside lane. The outside lane can be a little better saving the tires depending on how you can drive it. Bottoms can be a little better if you just lift a little bit through the corner. Don't want to burn too much. Just kind of limit that amount of turn of the wheel. Turn too much could slow your car down through the center of the corner. But also with a very cold track temp, it could matter less. So see how well the tire, how important tire saving will mean tonight. Down the back straightaway, we're starting to see that inside lane is starting to prevail a little bit, but once these tires start to wear off a little bit, that could make a difference. It could let that outside lane just start to close that gap as the inside lane will start to slide up more and more through the corners. The Chase Esteban is going to take this opportunity down to the bottom. He's going to get down there and take that moment. Clears out of the bottom. Oh, but a car around to the back. Sean Bowen again. And also the 115 Brandon Coots, a 71 on the car there. Brandon Coots around as well, but Sean Bowen, heavy damage. He already took his fast pair for the night. I think that's going to be his race over. So he'll have another race tonight. Already not a great ready to start the race. Start the doubleheader night, but we'll see how this happens going down to the turn number 1. Oh, Kyle Schmitz in the wall. Oh, Eric Edwards tagged. Unfortunate. Just barely clipped there. Let's take a look at this. Really started with Kyle Schmitz. There's a little bit of right side damage. So big checkup here. Oh, Eric Edwards got into him. Oh, and turned him into the wall a little bit. I think that may have broke his car, and it did. That broke his right front. And he could not steal that car, and just unfortunate timing there. Eric Edwards in a really unfortunate spot there, but a lot of drivers might be coming up pit road here. Some drivers staying out of the racetrack. Most drivers staying out, but this caution could allow this to stretch it to allow it to restart with under 50 to go, and the fuel window is typically pretty wide here compared to what we normally see at the Superspeedway. The baseline number was 42, but that could also be a little bit longer. I mean, if you're lifting on the bottom, saving your tires a lot more compared to other drivers in the field, that could stretch out at least a good 3-4 laps. And also with the draft, so it could really stretch out. I mean, if you're really hard saving, you can stretch that out to about 48 laps most likely. And we'll see if some of these drivers maybe come down and top it off. It could be a fuel mileage race at the end here. There's going to be a lot of saving, but also, I mean, if you're 1 lap short, as long as you run out halfway down the back straightaway, try and save only a half lap short, and you're only driver by yourself, you should be all good enough, because pitting here will lose you at least a lap and a half. So it's definitely a big advantage trying to save this fuel and limit your pit stops. Especially you don't really want to pit earlier most of the time, but the undercut will trap you a lap and a half down, and you really don't want to be so many laps down with the big pack here at a super speedway. So you can see that happen tonight, but you could also make this a fuel mileage race here with this caution. But most drivers staying out of the racetrack, so Cameron Crankett, the first driver to come down, he last pitted 9 laps ago. Kyle Schmitz, John Ganas just pitted, so only the 2 drivers pitted there, and those 2 were in the instead. Actually, Ganas was clean, so see what Ganas can do. But Kyle Schmitz is actually... So Kyle Schmitz, though, he had the damage, so he had to come down and take his fast spear. He had no choice but to pit. But everyone else staying on the racetrack, so we'll see if Kyle Schmitz, maybe if he can save a little bit of extra fuel. We'll see if maybe if he can stretch it long. I don't think he can, but he can at least go within 10 to go. If you get a caution within about 5 more laps, you can easily make it to the finish. A little bit of carnage already here in this race, but Eric Edwards and Jason Bottoms both out of tonight's race. Eric Edwards actually just still sitting in pit road. I believe he may have towed, but he's not taking his fast repair, but he's still in the race. Brandon Coots, he is not in the race. He just pulled it off the racetrack for tonight. Brian Whitcomb and Keith Long now going to be on the front row as Keith Long working his way up. The pace car off of turn number 4, coming back to the Geico restart zone. We're back underway here from Atlanta. That's Cody Dorsey. Not a great, right behind Brian Whitcomb, a great start, but Keith Long, not a great start on that restart. Brian Whitcomb could be a sitting duck out front right now. Not probably the greatest, it's a really good restart, but probably not the greatest idea right now to create a situation, because now he's going to get swarmed. This is going to be a sitting duck out in front, and Cody Dorsey could make that opportunity. Same with Jason Bottoms. They're both going to leap at that opportunity to go to the outside and try and get this race lead and steal this race lead away. Down the front straightaway into the quad oval here from Atlanta. So Cody Dorsey clears the race lead down to the bottom. Brian Whitcomb in on now second lane on the bottom. We'll see if he moves up, tries to steal this race lead back. Not able to get up there. Cody Dorsey still holds the lead. Brian Whitcomb sitting there in second. And everyone now side by side, very tight through the center of the corner there with Brian Whitcomb and Jason Bottoms. Almost made a little bit of contact. They're able to keep it together. But down the back straightaway, both lanes now pretty much dead even. Almost dead even. The outside lane, about a row back. Dead even pretty much to the rest of the field. Pretty much dead even run off of turn number 2. But now the run off of turn 4. The outside lane starts to fall back a little bit. That's going to allow Brian Whitcomb to move to the outside. Whitcomb tries the outside there. Peeked out of line just for a moment, but now peeks back into the bottom. That's going to allow Jason Bottoms to the outside. Jason Bottoms going to try and get the run off turn number 4 here. Try to get a good run to pull alongside Cody Dorsey and battle for this race lead. So on board that 5 machine of Jason Bottoms. Now he pulls alongside the inside lane there of Cody Dorsey. As both lanes now dead heat down into turn number 3, but now Bottoms, he's going to be clear. Does he take the opportunity? Yes, he does. Bottoms moves to the bottom, and he clears for the lead. And we'll see what Cody Dorsey, how aggressive will Dorsey be to take that race lead back. It's down into turn number 1. Jason Bottoms. Looks from behind, and Jason Bottoms' mirror pretty much a little bit lower right off the gearbox of the race car. On board with Jason Bottoms. Let's go on board back of the field here with Dakota Bly. This is what it seems like from the back of the field. Oh, my contact in the front, and that's going to bring out a caution. Let's take a look at that one as lead towards the back here. Dakota Bly. Keith Long, he was up front and heavy damage to that front of the race car. Let's take a look at what happened. Oh, huge wreck for Brian Whitcomb. Hard hit, as didn't really see that with the on-pour there. Let's take a look at what happened. Brian Whitcomb in line with Cody Dorsey. Oh, but Alex Bonsior got out of line, trying to slot back in and hooks Brian Whitcomb, and Keith Long nowhere to go. Unfortunate for Brian Whitcomb there. Let's go on board. This is a very hard impact for Brian Whitcomb. Huge hit there. Not what you want to see out on your screen. Luckily that that hit did not happen in real life like it just did there. But Alex Bonsior, our race leaders, we do have drivers coming down pit road, and I think this will make it a fuel. These drivers will be able to make it on fuel. So Alex Bonsior staying out of the racetrack. Don't know if that will be the greatest idea. DJ Moore, he stayed out. He already pitted. He did pit 21 laps ago, so he pitted on that first caution. John Ganas pitted 11 laps ago, so he might be in that window. So that could give him some great track position. Cut off pit road though. It's Cody Pruitt. What a great pit stop to put him out in front of the drivers who just pitted. But DJ Moore, John Ganas staying out. Alex Bonsignor, though, slow here. Don't know why. Maybe giving up his spots for causing that wreck there. This outcome of this time by will just be about a third of the race through, just a little bit over that. It's halfway. We'll be lap 32 and a half, so we're not too terribly far from halfway here. DJ Moore will elect to take the bottom as Alex Bonsior is going to the back of the field. And he didn't even pit there, so he's probably want to pit if he went to the back, but now that makes it pretty much easy to make on fuel, except for DJ Moore because he stayed out there, and John Ganas, as those two drivers stayed out. But John Ganas might just need a little bit of fuel saving to make it. That caution should help him here. This caution should help him. We'll see how this restart goes, how aggressive will these drivers get. Ready to take that hard left turn onto pit road once again, as DJ Moore and John Ganas will lead them back to green here on the front row. As green flag back in the air here for race number 5 of the season. Race number 1 of the night for tonight's doubleheader events. DJ Moore currently clear for the lead. Cody Pruitt sitting there in second. It's on the inside lane, able to make a good launch forward, and Jason Bottoms clears down quickly in front of the rest of the field. Now the outside, oh, but big aggressive moves there. Jason Bottoms gets up. Cameron Craighead throws the block on him. He's slowing just a little bit, but now no one on the outside except for Kyle Schmitz. Derek Riley and John Ganas, but John Ganas thought about slotting back into the inside there, but Cody Dorsey trying to make a launch for the race lead. Jason Bottoms right behind him. As down the outside lane, goes start to form back up again. It's down the action entering turn number 3. Cody Dorsey with a great run to the outside lane. He's got Jason Bottoms right behind him. A little blinking out from back to John Ganas. But DJ Moore is kind of hoping he gets another caution because he will not be able to make it on fuel. But a great run from the outside lane. And Cody Dorsey and Jason Bottoms cleared down for the race lead. But DJ Moore really wiggly on the bottom of the racetrack. Cameron Craighead goes around on the outside by himself. And now the outside lane is starting to try and build back up. But DJ Moore really starting to struggle a little bit. I think that front end damage might not be helping him. And also he's on a little bit older tires. This could wonder if this maybe could be a little bit of tire wear tonight. This race. But off of turn number 4, down the front straightaway. DJ Moore starting to fall back a little bit as now you have Cameron Craighead moves to the outside. Trying to get side by side for a second. He's going to try and chase down Cody Dorsey for the race lead up in front. Now double file too deep here as the outside lane really strung out, but Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley able to keep really good pace up there. Derek Riley was our pole sitter, got that penalty early on, got a really good caution. Now he's worked his way back up through the field, and now he's up to 4th. Now he's going to try to push Craighead clear, but Craighead clears down. He's really not going to have much help. DJ Moore going to the apron there, really shakes up the field a little bit. Aaron Edwards on the inside a little bit of Kelly Walton. There's Keith Long on the racetrack. He's our free pass right now, but he is also in danger of going a lap down here soon. But Cameron Craighead, he's going to be clear for the lead. He's going to get in front of Cody Dorsey. That leaves pretty much Derek Riley all by himself up top as he's going to try and side draft Kyle Schmitz back down the racetrack. Try to slow that run down from the inside lane. So side by side, so the outside side by side for about 5th is the outside lane. Really strung out. Both lanes kind of strung out a little bit, but the inside lane is really strung out. As top 3 have kind of gone from the rest of the field right now. Now Riley falls back another spot, another row. So side draft Cody Pruitt back a little bit. That's how Schmitz pulled away. They pulled back up closer, but here comes Jason Bottoms, who gets really high up into turn number 2 there. Maybe thought of making a move on Cody Dorsey, but it's still a while to go. And the outside lane not really built up yet, but DJ Moore a little almost into Derek Riley there. Down into turn number 1, Derek Riley on the bottom, staying side by side. Jason Bottoms peeking out of line. I wonder if this maybe could just be a little bit of a tire saving game, just try and save those temps a little bit, entering a little bit higher, getting some fresh air on that nose. Maybe a little bit of tire wear or something like a factor. Everyone did take 4 tires, so he's just trying to get some clean air on that nose. Maybe thinking of a move if someone would go with it, maybe Kyle Schmitz or Cody Pruitt if one of those drivers went with them. But these top 5 kind of pulling away from the rest of the field right now. Got a pretty good gap, but DJ Moore now has no one slowing him down as Derek Riley starting to fall back on the outside lane as they're side by side with Alex Bonsignor, Brian Whitcomb down to the bottom. Front though, Kaylee Walton trying to make moves on DJ Moore, but this is separate. These packs are separating. Don't want to battle too much. These top 5 will pull away. It's much easier to lose a draft here. This tires matter, the arcs matter a little bit more. And he's really starting to slide draft the inside lane down a little bit, and especially if you get a gap like this, a 6/10 of a second gap, you start to slow them down, get side drafting. It's very easy to lose the pack in second. It's kind of harder to catch back up, so this gap's going to be a little bit harder to gain. A little gap, and that's now starting to close back in as everyone's single file here. So it's just under 30 to go here for the race number 1 of the night. DJ Moore, Eric Edwards pushing down the back straight. Eric Edwards 2 laps down, trying to maybe get one of his laps back the hard way. Down the field, pulls back together, single file on the bottom. And we're not going to see the field relax for a little bit here. But as soon as I say that, DJ Moore moves up to the outside. No one really going with him. Eric Edwards thinks about it, but he's going to stick behind, in line behind Cody Pruitt. Derek Riley trying to move around on the outside there, just towards the back. As Jason Bottom's thinking about it, he peeks his nose a little bit. Trying to maybe give a little bit of draft to DJ Moore, trying to get DJ Moore a little bit closer. He wants to try to move up, but now they can kind of slow the pack down just a little bit. They're starting to see a little bit of gap for him. That gap's starting to open up just a little bit. But a caution out of the racetrack. DJ Moore goes around to the front straightaway with Kelly Walton. And that's an incident there. Another incident. Maybe let's take a look at what happened. Just trying to maybe slide in line here. It's a bad time to slide in line. We saw that happen again, and yeah, just not clear there. And DJ Moore comes down the racetrack, and Kelly Walton nowhere to go. Just gets turned from behind. There's nowhere anyone could do behind Kelly Walton there. Luckily, it doesn't look like too bad damage on that 23 machine. Already used as fast repair, but should be all right. Doesn't seem too bad of damage. Just a little bit of left side damage. Get that fixed up. DJ Moore though doesn't look like too bad damage either. Still have that front end damage. But now DJ Moore will come down pit road and top it off on fuel. Cameron Crickhead stays out. He's our race leader. Cody Dorsey, Jason Bottoms will come down pit road, maybe try and get some fresh tires. This time it will be 25 laps to go, but no one else coming down pit road. Dakota Bly, only 2, 3, 4. So Bonsignor Edwards comes down pit road. Edwards 2 laps down already, but Keith Long able to get his lap back here as he'll be the free pass. But under caution here, as we'll reach 25 to go. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here from Atlanta.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes, and we just wanted to say how excited we are to be sponsoring the Undisputed Cup Series this season for the championship trophy. And also, we are looking forward to working with you guys. Hopefully, we can bring your virtual victories into reality this season. And you can reach out to me on Discord, or you can scan the QR code below, and it'll take you to our Instagram page where you can see all the work we've done over the years. Thank you guys, and good luck this season.
Welcome back here to Atlanta here for the Undisputed Cup Series double header as Cameron Craig are going to lead on back to green with 23 laps to go here, race number 1 of the night. As Cameron Craig with a great launch on the bottom of the racetrack. The outside lane, Cody Dorsey, not a great restart, but now we have this opportunity on the restart. We're going to do a little bit of Ellering crank it up here from Atlanta. Welcome back from our Crank It Up segment. As you just saw a few drivers trying to make a little bit of news on the outside lane, but now the single file back out there. Kyle Schmitz tries to move back to the outside lane. Side by side with Brian Whitcomb. Jason Bottoms trying to work his way up. You saw a few drivers. Jason Bottoms, he's not afraid to get his nose out there, trying to make some moves for it. Kyle Schmitz doing the same. Brian Whitcomb, when he was up front, he was controlling it pretty well. Now he's starting to fall back a little bit. Now he's trying to work his way back up to the front of the field, but now he's kind of in a very unfortunate situation. He's going to try and get back in line right behind Keith Moore if possible. He's really going nowhere on the bottom. He's just really heavily getting side drafted there on the bottom. This time Bob will be coming to 15 laps to go here in this race. It's Jason Bottoms in the outside lane, trying to make it work. Not going to be good enough. Eric Edwards side by side. Eric Edwards 2 laps down, still lap car in the middle of the pack there. But it's Keith Long. He was back on the lead lap. He's trying to work his way back up through the field. That had to be an incident not too long ago. Out front, Cameron Craighead, Derek Riley, and Cody Pruitt is the outside lane starting to form up. As Jason Bottoms, he was one of those drivers who pitted on that last caution. He's one of the 5 drivers who pitted on that last caution, coming out and getting fresh tires. So see if those work out for him on the outside lane. 14 to go. Still a while for still tires could matter. Mature tires could matter. Just how cold it is out there tonight. Don't know if tires will matter too much. We'll have to ask one of our podium finishers to see what they thought of how the tire was tonight. Yeah, so they kind of stalling up right around there with Brian Whitcomb. The outside lane starting to work together, but now Brian Whitcomb moves to the top. Jason Bottoms back to the bottom. A little bit of flip-flopping there up front. And Jason Bottoms, now he's clear of the top. Where will he go? Will he move into the top lane here, down the back straightaway into turn 3? Yes, he will, but now no one else behind him is up there. But now they move all back to the bottom. What's the decision off of turn 4? But Jason Bottoms slots in front of DJ Moore, plays a little bit of leapfrog there on the bottom. As that's what we've seen a lot of these drivers. Jason Bottoms working this traffic perfectly, but just can't get the run over the top lane to get up to the race lead. Doesn't have the help. Is no help up there. Is in with single file. As this time out will be coming to 10 to go. The aggression is going to start to ramp up, but now Bottoms side by side with DJ Moore, and that's going to slow him down once again. DJ Moore was also a few laps down as well, kind of in the middle of this pack, fighting with Eric Edwards for the Lucky Dog. They're both 2 laps down, but they're both fighting for the free pass. And neither of them want to give that up. As actually Eric Edwards currently has that spot right now. There's the tail end of the field. Dakota Blythe, a single file right now. Cameron Craighead leads that field with 10 to go. Oh, Cameron Craighead not in this position right now. He's going to have to play a lot of blocking on that final lap. Going to have to hope some lanes fall his way, but we'll have to see how that works out. But Cameron Craighead's still out front comfortably right now. No one really trying to ditch out a line yet up front. Derek Riley was our pole sitter, got that early penalty, and now he's back up to second in that prime position. Try to steal this race right away, but Jason Bottoms trying to make that outside work again with Brian Whitcomb on the bottom. The top four have 2 lap cars a little bit in the way, but Brian Whitcomb, big save down off of turn 4. A great save from Brian Whitcomb, and that's going to cost him a lot of time in the main pack, along with Kelly Walton, Dakota Blythe, Kyle Schmitz, all getting involved in that one. All almost getting involved in that one, costing a lot of time. Let's take a look what happened. I think just a bad push from Kyle Schmitz here. What a save for Brian Whitcomb. Great save for that 59 machine. But that's going to separate the pack as Kelly Walton now going to have to try and chase down John Ganas, the last driver in that pack. As that gap is 2 seconds, so they got to get formed back up quickly. Can hope some of these drivers start the battle and they start to lose pack, but I don't know if that's going to help. They're probably going to have to hope for a caution. But someone that does help is Jason Bottoms. Now it's a little bit less cars, not close to a penalty if he messes up the outside move. But Eric Edwards trying to move the outside with him, maybe trying to get to the outside lane, but Jason Bottoms dishes them again to the bottom, and he moves up to the top stand. We'll see if he can pull alongside someone up in front, as now he's alongside, side by side for 4th with Alex Bonsignor. DJ Moore trying to move that outside as well. DJ Moore hoping for a caution, wants to get that free pass in front of Eric Edwards. But the outside lane, no one really working the outside lane yet. No one making too many moves, as Jason Bottoms really being the only driver to make moves. It's got DJ Moore behind him, but only 8 lead lap cars this main pack, with 2 lap cars of Eric Edwards and DJ Moore. With 5 to go here in the first race of the night. Cody Dorsey had an opportunity sitting there in 6th. He's trying to go 3 for 5 to start the year. Through turn number 3 and 4. It's the outside lane now starting to make makes the move. Alex Bonsignor hops up as Keith Long was leading that outside lane as he was in an incident about lap number 25, and now he's in this opportunity here with 5 to go to get this outside lane moving. He's going to try and push Alex Bonsignor down the back straightaway. Eric Edwards on the bottom. Side drop to the back a little bit. As Jason Bottoms hops back to the bottom, he's right behind Eric Edwards. A little boingle. Bonsignor goes around. Huge wreck. Keith Long involved. And Eric Edwards involved as well. And a big wreck with 4 to go. And that brings out the caution. And Eric Edwards, that's not what he wanted. He did not want to be in that incident. But I think just Jason Bottoms up the racetrack just a little bit. Hard impacts for both of these drivers. All 3 of those drivers, and that brings out the caution with 4 laps to go. And that will take Keith Long out of the race as he already used his fast repair. Eric Edwards out of the race as well. DJ Moore will be able to get the lucky dog, the free pass, but he's going to have one more caution. So you have to hope we don't get the overtime in here. So he's going to have to hope for a quick yellow. He's going to spins out under the caution there. But Cameron Craighead out front. Everyone else is going to stay out of the racetrack, but that will leave Cameron Craighead, Derek Riley, Cody Pruitt, Jason Bottoms, Cody Dorsey are top 5, but that does help Kelly Walton, Kyle Schmitz, Dakota Bly, and Brian Woodcomb. Well, they had that moment off turn 4 with about 8 to go. That'll pull them back in this pack now. Fight for something here on a final on the green white checker here, as it will be an overtime attempt for race number 1 of the night. And right now, Cameron Craighead, he was controlling the field out in front. Now he's going to have to control it on a restart once again, but we'll see if he gets a good restart. Don't want to get too good of a restart though and get too much of a gap. You'll be a sitting duck and everyone will leave you behind. So Cameron Craighead got to play smart on this restart here. Try and keep the pack maybe a little bit packed up. Don't want to get it too spread out, because if you get it too spread out, that allows the field to get really stacked up and generate big runs, and that'll allow the field to kind of just ditch you whenever they feel like it. So Cameron Craighead don't want to get this field stretched out a little bit too much here on this restart. But Derek Riley going to try and get the race win as he qualified on pole earlier tonight. Also, the way this sessions and how tonight's works, the finishing order of this race will be the starting order for next race. So track position could matter in that next race a little bit more. Never know how the track position can work. As you saw with Jason Bottoms there, Jason Bottoms, he was trying to work that outside lane as much as he could, but just couldn't move up. There just wasn't enough help behind him. So he's in a much better spot. He's up in 4th now, 2nd on the outside lane. But if that's happened again in the outside lane, just really couldn't get going. That could hurt, and that could mean track position's a lot more important. So you also want to get a good finish in this race, in race number 1 tonight, to get a good race start in race number 2. We'll see how this overtime attempt goes. Cameron Craighead, Derek Riley will be on the front row, and Cody Pruitt will be 3rd, and Jason Bottoms will be 4th. So we'll see what lane can fire off the best. The 3-mile shootout, or we'll have to rack them up again. The Cameron Craighead, Derek Riley on the front row. I was going to restart it here. 2 laps to go here in overtime. Green flag back in the air. Cameron Craighead with a good launch. He's going to have a little bit of gap behind Derek Riley. Let's see if he slots in line there. He will. Jason Bottoms all by himself on the outside lane. You have to try and slot in line quickly and try and make a move. He's going to try and fall behind Dorsey, and he will. Off of turn number 2 now. Derek Riley, Cameron Craighead. lead the field as they single file out. Can they make it back to the white flag? Through 3 and 4. Cody Dorsey going to move up to the outside lane. Jason Bowers going to try and follow, but Dorsey thinks about ducking back in line. Jason Bowers moves up to the outside lane. But white flag, 1 lap to go. Cameron Craighead, our race leader. Derek Riley sitting there in second. Will he make his move? Cody Pruitt sitting there in third. Derek Riley thinking about moving up. Jason Bottoms up to the outside lane. Now leaves the outside, side by side for third. That's going to slow the field down. And that's going to leave Derek Riley. Cameron Craighead. That's going to leave the gap. Cameron Craighead trying to block. Is Derek Riley trying to make a move. They're going to crash behind him. But can Riley get the run off turn 4? Coming to the line. Cameron Craighead off turn 4. He's got to play a blocker off the front straightaway. Derek Riley moves to the outside, but it's not going to be enough. Cameron Craighead will win race number 1 of the night. As Cameron Craighead gets that race win that he's looking for those past few weeks. And he plays the track position perfectly out in front. And Cameron Craighead will be our race winner for race number 1 of the night. Don't think we'll be able to get a burnout, as the heat session will automatically advance to the warm-up. As they will. So Cameron Craighead, our race winner tonight. For race number 1, we'll bring him to the booth. So Cameron Craighead able to get that race win. How's it feeling? Just kind of walk us through your race there.
I mean, just trying to get to the lead. You know, it's bottom. Oh, it's the bottom lane is very dominant here, so I just wanted to get up front, block that bottom, and we did that. Cruised to the race and got it done.
Yeah, you're able to perfectly control that last green white checker there. But before we send you off on your way, any sponsors that you thank for tonight's race one?
Race Labs, Cavalier Racing, and my parents.
All right. Well, congrats on the race win. Well, good luck in our race number 2 of the night.
Thank you.
So that was Cameron Craighead, our race winner for race number 1 tonight. We'll bring in our second place finisher here of Derek Riley, as Derek Riley able to pick up a solid second place finish for race number 1 tonight. So just kind of talk me through your race there here in race number 1, and just how you're going to be able to use what you learned here in race 1 to maybe try and pick up the race win for race number 2.
Man, I goofed up on the start there, so I kind of set myself back from the beginning. But yeah, once I regrouped and kind of found my pace, I was able to work back up. But the fuel strategy was kind of strange with the way the cautions fell, but we made it work.
Yeah, you're able to really pick up a solid second place finish. That means you'll start second here tonight in the second race tonight. So this will be a great starting spot. We'll see how you can work through there. But before we send you off on your way and get ready to prepare for race number 2, any sponsors anything for tonight's second place run?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you there towards the end. What was that?
Sorry. So we'll get kind of wrap this up quickly to get you prepared here for race number 2. But before we send you off on your way, any sponsors you'd like to thank for your second place finish?
Oh yeah, and honestly, anybody that's helping out the league, KK Woodscapes, Burlington Cafe, Quantum Bearings. There's been tons of little stuff to help us out. So anybody that's got a hand in the league, just like to thank them.
All right, once again, congrats on your second place finish. So good luck in race number 2 tonight.
All right, thanks.
So that was our second place finisher of Derek Riley for race number 2. We'll bring in our third place finisher of Cody Dorsey here for race number 3, as he was, third place finisher of race number 1 tonight. As a very solid run for you tonight. What do you think you're going to be able to use what you learned there in race number 1 to maybe try and pick up a race win here tonight in race number 2?
That the top don't really get no runs. I mean, I tried there for like these last 20 laps to get that top to go in. It's just like didn't matter who was up front or what side draft we were doing. We just weren't able to pull the top to the front. So I don't know. Hopefully try to get the work in. If not, it's going to be about track position and about how to try and make moves and move yourself up from the bottom line to the front, hopefully.
All right, but you're still able to pick up a solid finish tonight, and just consistently is going to be the key tonight, and just be able to get the most amount of points. But they'll be able to get you set up in a way for race number 2 tonight, and get to prepare. But before we send you off there, any sponsors like thank for tonight's third place run here in race 1?
Yeah, here in Race 1, I want to thank you, Aaron, of course, what you guys do over at Legends Racing Network. We appreciate you guys every single week coming out here for our guests. Got to thank KK Woodscapes for their sponsor, Quantum for our Titan sponsor, StubHub, and, of course, the Burlington Cafe for what they do for us and stuff. And, yeah, all of our other great sponsors. And, yeah, just thank you again, and hopefully this second race will be, pretty exciting for you guys.
Yeah, once again, congrats on your third place run tonight, and good luck in race number 2.
Thank you, Aaron. See you, buddy.
So that was Cody Dorsey, our third place finisher tonight here in race number 1. So we're gonna wrap that one quickly up, as we're gonna take a quick break while warm-up is underway. We're gonna get ready for race number 2. Actually, but before we do that, let's take a look at our results here for our race number 1 tonight. Cameron Cragen able to pick up the race win. Derek Riley finishing second. Cody Dorsey third. Kyle Schmitz sitting in fourth. Kelly Walton, a very solid top 5 finish tonight. Got John Ganas finishing sixth. Dakota Bly 7th. Brian Witt coming 8th. Keith Long in 9th. And Jason Bottoms out to the top 10. As a last lap crash for a lot of those guys just at the back half of that top 10 there. Cody Pruitt finishing 11th. DJ Moore in 12th. Alex Bonsier 13th. Eric Edwards in 14th. And Brandon Coots in 15th. And Sean Bowen in 16th tonight for race number 1. But now, while these drivers prepare for race number 2, as we get a little bit of a break for race number 2, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here from Atlanta for race number 2. Welcome back here to Atlanta, here for the Undisputed Cup Series, now for race number 6 of the season, and our second race of the night for the double play 195 here from Atlanta. As we just wrapped up race number 1, we saw Cameron Cricket able to take the race win, and this race will just start just like they finished. So we'll quickly go through the grid for tonight's race number 2 and race number 6 of the season. Cameron Cricket will start on the pole. Derek Riley will start second. Starting third tonight will be Cody Dorsey. Kyle Schmitz will start 4th. Starting 5th will be Kelly Walton. John Ganache will start 6th. Starting 7th will be Dakota Bly. Brian Whitcomb will start 8th. Starting 9th will be Keith Long. And Jason Moms will start 10th. Starting 11th tonight will be Cody Pruitt. DJ Moore will start 12th. 13th will be Alex Bonsignor, and Eric Edwards will start 14th. Starting 15th tonight will be Brandon Coots, and rounding out our 16-car field will be Sean Bowen for race number 2. So we'll see if Cameron Craighead able to control the race lead, control the field on that final checkered in race number 1 as he just wrapped up. We'll see if he can do it again here in race number 2 and go back-to-back tonight, able to win the sweep the double headers here at Atlanta. But we're going to restart here. It's just like last race, 65 laps and for 1 hour to complete them. But the time limit shouldn't be a problem, just like it wasn't really last race. But we'll have to see how these drivers fare in race number 2. They had a little bit of a break, a little bit of time to prepare here for race number 2. Not many drivers really taking warm-up laps. A few drivers practicing a little bit of pit road entry and just maybe practicing if we get a green flag stop. That is a possibility if you want to around 42 to 48 laps. So we'll see if we get there. But the pace car takes that hard left turn onto pit road once again tonight, and we're getting ready to start race number 2. Green flags in the air. We're underway here from Atlanta. Off the turn number 2, down the back straightaway, a much better restart on the outside lane than what we've been seeing, what we saw in race 1 tonight. Derek Riley getting a good shove from Kyle Schmitz, but now it's going to start to fall back a little bit. We kind of saw with Cody Dorsey in his post-race interview for race number 1 that the outside lane was really tough to get rolling, and so we'll see if they can get it back going again and maybe kind of get the run to the outside lane. But only 13 cars attempting this race as three drivers left in session for race number 1. So only 13 cars here tonight for race number 2. Two of those drivers being DJ Moore, being one of those drivers not in the race tonight, not in the second race. Kelly Walton also being one of those. Finally, the last driver that is not starting for race number 2. So off the turn number 2, down the back straightaways. We now going to start to try and get settled in here for race 2. As Derek Riley able to get the race lead and probably control like he wanted to do for race number 1. Didn't really work out as he got that penalty early. Or that he got that penalty on that initial start. We got a lucky caution. He had to work his way up through the field. He put himself in a great spot to try and steal that run away in race number 1, but not able to do it. He was able to pick up second, so still can be a solid, very solid points finish there. We'll see how he can fare in race number 2, as we're probably going to see some of the same drivers up front as Cameron Craighead. Now he's on the outside, kind of stuck up there. Falling back a little bit. He's pulling that inside lane back really well with Kyle Schmitz on the bottom. Now he's going to get a little bit of help on the outside from John Ganache. But to the outside, there's Brian Whitcomb, and they're going to split him 3 wide as Jason Bottoms thinks about going up with Whitcomb, but then ducks down to the bottom with Ganache. And Brian Whitcomb going to go to the back of the outside lane. He's going to have to try and work his way up somehow, some other way. It's still a long way to go here in race number 2, as we will have that pit stop, so you can see a lot of pit strategies differ. I assume most of these drivers will probably want to go as late as possible, but if you get a pack of maybe 3 or 4 cars, especially at Atlanta, could be faster, especially with that undercut. What tires could be a matter a little bit, but we'll have to see how that matters and how that fares later. What would be our podium finishers, but but tires didn't seem like it mattered too much in that first race. Let's take a look at our weather for race number 2 as we advance a little bit through time. 11:30 here at night in the simulator. A 67-degree ambient temperature, 69-degree track temp, clear skies, and 5-mile-per-hour winds with the 100% humidity. So that's very humid out there tonight. But the track temp, let's take a look at the history as it pretty much stayed dead even. Maybe the temperature went up just, the track temp just went up 1 degree. That's all that it's been. That just went up 1 degree from the warm-up, so it's been the exact same all night long. Cameron Craighead fighting hard on the outside lane, even with the lack of help. He is side-drafting that inside lane perfectly to stay right alongside Kyle Schmitz. It's just enough, but he's going to be burning a little bit more fuel up there and burning up a little bit more tires doing that. So you want to be careful. Don't want to be doing that for too long. The tires not making much of a difference. We kind of don't really see any tire wear really play a factor in race number 1. Once again, kind of like we saw in race 1 tonight, as the lane starting to struggle a little bit. Not really able to get the runs that the bottom's able to do, but kind of see, I mean, we really never really got a long green flag run to see if tires really wear off maybe after maybe about 30 laps. Our longest run in the race number 1 is maybe about 15-20 laps at most. So you really get to see a long enough run for tires to maybe matter. That outside lane to start to be a little bit more powerful, but Cameron Craighead, he finds that hole on the bottom. He slots in front of Dakota Bly there. Dakota Bly on the inside lane trying to work his way up through the field. As he started towards the back here in this race, but he's now sitting up in 4th in a solid run so far. But the outside lane is starting to struggle now as Jason Bottoms, John Ganassi, and Ryan Wick are the only 3 drivers on the outside lane. None of them able to make many moves, but Cameron Craighead trying to make that leapfrog move on Kyle Schmitz. He's going to almost have it there in the 3, but now he's going to have to try and side draft switch back through the corner. And Dakota Bly, get a little bit of the gap, don't use too much. Want to try and prevent Cameron Craighead from sliding in line, and Craighead, he just shut the door there, and he's going to slot back in line, but that allowed that outside, him going on the outside, allowed that outside to kind of build a little bit more momentum as Brian Whitcomb, he fell back to the bottom, but Jason Bottoms and John Ganassi hooked up really well on the outside lane, pushing together even well, but now they need kind of someone up on the outside lane to kind of give him a little more draft, as now Jason Bottoms going to probably start to get a little bit hot up there, and now he's going to fall back a little bit, and that's going to bring that outside lane a little bit further back, a little bit cleaner here in race number 2 than what we saw in race number 1. So far, so clean here in race number 2. Mostly single file out through the field as of now. Derek Riley will go on board the gearbox. See how that field is. Single file on back. See a little bit of the air intake there on Kyle Schmitz's machine. Jason Bottoms trying to work his way up through the field. He was really trying in that race number 1. Never really could get them run on the outside lane. Just the inside lane seems very dominant here tonight. Outside lane trying to build back up once again, but not working out as they hoped for. But Sean Bowen losing the draft a little bit. He's definitely lost the draft. Now he's going to leave 11 cars in this lead pack. But 15 laps in here to race number 2. So far, so clean. But now that opens, with 40 to go here in race number 1, that's going to open that fuel window. Sorry, 50 to go. So that's going to open up that fuel window here in about 5 more laps pretty safely to make it. At that point, Derek Riley, he's going to be burning a lot of fuel up front, so you can probably really only go to lap maybe about 40, 42 laps. But some of these drivers, maybe towards the back, like Dakota Bly, kind of sitting right there in 4th, Keith Long, Cody Pruitt, those drivers sitting right there in the middle of the pack, could also just be saving a lot more fuel. They can maybe stretch it to maybe like 45 laps, maybe even 48. You can really save a lot of fuel here because it's much smaller racetrack. So the more saving you do here is the more it just compounds, and really just kind of the same amount of fuel saving at Talladega means maybe 2-3 laps. But here at Atlanta, a mile shorter compared to Daytona and Talladega. It's about maybe you can save about 4 or 5 laps of fuel. So that can make a big difference, especially how short this race is tonight of only 65 laps. Onboard here with Eric Edwards. Eric Edwards trying to rebound from his race 1 tonight. Not a great race 1 for Eric Edwards as he got caught up in a couple of incidents. He ended up finishing more than 2 laps down, not finishing that last race. So he's trying to rebound here in race number 2. Currently sitting at the back of the pack, but just binding his time here. A little bit of contact with Jason Bottom right up in front of him. It seems to be very hard to move up, and that track position seems to be very important. Up front, though, Derek Riley able to stay in the race lead, control that field so far, but he's definitely going to be burning a lot more fuel now. But pit road definitely going to be a much bigger challenge compared to what we see at Daytona Talladega. At Daytona Talladega, you got a really wide apron. You onto pit road and makes a very good entrance, a very safe entrance. But coming into turn 3s, we'll see it this time by when they come back by pit road. Oh, there's pit lane number 1. Let's try and get the right camera, but there's no camera. But as you'll see coming in right here off to the screen to the right, you have the back straightaway, but you have to go down, you have to stay below this white line in turn 3 and 4. You have to stay below that white line all the way through the corner. Now, in real life, under green flag conditions is 90 miles an hour through that turn 3 and 4 section. And then you have to slow down a pit speed of 45 miles an hour on pit road. But in iRacing, that 95 limit does not exist. 90 miles per hour does not exist in 3 and 4. So you want to try and push that as much as possible to maybe try and gain a little bit more time. But also you don't want to lose too much, over push it, because if you cross that line at any point, if your wheels touch that line, you will get an unsafe pit entrance, and that will ruin your night. But right now, as John Ganassi with Jason Bottoms just going to move that outside lane back again. As these two try to work together, big wiggle off turn 4. Almost a bad push gone wrong there from Jason Bottoms, but they're able to keep it together. Great save from Goss there. But that will actually be in turn number 3 and 4. Now Brian Whitcomb trying to make the move as now we're coming into that pit window. Next time by will be coming into 40 laps to go, so we'll be 41 to go this time by. But we're going to be within that fuel window here, so our pit window is securely open, safely open. Even if you go out there and push it the entire way and full throttle, it should be easily makeable. So we'll see if anyone maybe tries to break off in a pack of 3 or 4 and trying to jump the field. As we only have 11 cars tonight in this lead pack as in the second race, but Cody Dorsey, he's about to get lapped as he just lost the draft pretty early. So Cody Dorsey hoping for a caution before someone else goes lap down, because Sean Bowen also lost the draft. And he's trying to, they're both trying to stay on the lead lap and hoping for a caution. Derek Riley actually getting out in front as Cameron Craighead, Kyle Schmitz, Dakota Bly, Keith Long making some moves as they're trying to get that track position. That's now Derek Riley with a great run to go around Cody Dorsey. So usually that lap car is a pick, but now Kyle Schmidt's going to kind of be blocked in on the bottom. He's going to try and stay behind Cody Dorsey, but Cameron Craighead goes around the outside to Kyle Schmidt's. Going to have to go 3 wide around Cody Dorsey in the middle, but Alex Bonds, you're up on the outside wall. And Jason Bottoms, that was the moment he needed. He's now up to the top 5. But he now is that outside diminished once again as now Cody Dorsey merges back into the middle of the pack right there in third. Right there, third in line. So Cody Pruitt back here behind. So lap car between second and third. As that really shook up the back half of the field. And now that gap's starting to open up a little bit, but they got to get back single file. Should be able to close that gap pretty easily back up through the field. But these are not going to be too much longer for pit stops. Probably about 15 more laps. Be coming down pit road. But so far, everyone single file back once again here, just above halfway here in race number 2 of the night. Derek Riley able to stay out in front. Cameron Craighead up in second, so really not much has changed out in front. But now Kyle Schmitz, Eric Edwards down side by side. Alex Bonsignor, Brian Whitcomb, battle towards the middle of the pack here. A little bit of contact, maybe entering turn number 1. But now we're going to start to see is we're now 30 laps in. Is maybe that could have been a product of maybe a little bit of tire wear. The inside lane might start slipping up just a little bit. Maybe make that outside lane just a little bit more powerful. See how much better this outside lane will get. So see that right front start to wear, but you can only go maybe 10 more laps on fuel, especially for Derek Riley. As Derek Riley has been out front all night, all race long, different racing position. He's just burning fuel, so he can only probably go to only 10 more laps on fuel for Derek Riley. You just have to hope someone goes with him. Stay side by side with Eric Edwards and Kyle Schmitz for that top 5 spot. This top 4 able to get top 3 with the lap car of Cody Dorsey sitting there in third in line, trying to get maybe a more like gap to the rest of the field behind. Now back, they single file back out as Alex Bonsignor falls behind Eric Edwards and Kyle Schmitz behind Bonsignor. So now Whitcomb moves back to the outside, pulls alongside Kyle Schmitz. Riley, how soon will he have to pit, being out front all these laps? Just lap ticking by, will be one closer to that pit stop. Oh, Brian Whitcomb moves to the bottom, side by side with Kyle Schmitz now. Tries to move to the bottom. Halfway through this race number 2, and kind of like that phenomenon we kind of see with the real life races and kind of the heat races, as we saw kind of with the All-Star race this past week in real life NASCAR. And we also see with the duels, one typically seems to be the very opposite of the other. One can be a lot of cautions and very chaotic, and one can be very calm up until that very point of the race. And that's what we're kind of seeing tonight. Race number 1, it was a little chaotic. We had a lot of cautions, A lot of incidents happened in race number 2. Has been a very calm, cool, and collected as we this time by will be 30 laps into the run, 35 laps into the run. As Sean Bowen will go a lap down. So only 2 drivers going a lap down. Just maybe getting unfortunately caught up in a checkup, loses the pack. But Sean Bowen actually I think lost the pack again. He might be able to slot in behind John Ganassi here. Keith Long actually might lose the pack here as well. He's gonna hopefully get back into the swing of things. But Derek Riley holding the lead for now, but we're closing out of those pit stops. We'll see how aggressive this field will get. They will want to try and get that track position for pit stops, and no one's going to want to go very early, because if you go early, it's going to open up that opportunity for a caution, especially pit road. Very tricky. Could easily see a caution on get a caution. So some of these drivers are going to go very late. So that's kind of the downside of leading. Derek Riley able to get the lead, but he's burning more fuel, and he's going to have to pit sooner. If he gets a caution and goes 2 laps down, that could mean he could be trapped a lap down, and that's not what you want to see. And you don't want to go from lead to that. That's just very, very demoralizing, especially coming from the race lead, leading all the laps so far tonight. But Derek Riley looking good out front, and probably within only maybe about 5 laps of fuel left. It's probably all he's got, as he's been out front this entire second race. Brian Whitcomb, Dakota Bly, a little contact in the back there, a little shake up. That's Jason Bonos, Dakota Bly. We'll see if they work together here. So we're trying to get back through the field. Let's go on board here with kind of John Ganas and try and get a look out just how this field is strung out going into the corner. I mean, that's turn 1. Trying to stay pretty with the field, just trying to stay off the back, trying to see some pit stops. I think there they are down pit road. As you see some pit stops, Brian Whitcomb, Kyle Schmitz, Alex Bonsignor, Cody Pruitt. As everyone looks so clean down pit road as Cameron Craighead comes down pit road. Derek Riley is there. Goes most of the field down pit road is Dakota Bly, Brian Whitcomb, Jason Bottoms, John Ganas, and Keith Long. They all stay out. Alex Bonsignor, I think he got hit for that penalty, maybe overstepping that line, and Alex Bonsignor, very costly penalty there. As these top 4, they're going to stay out a little bit longer. We'll see if they can keep together. If they can keep together pretty well and push together once they get down pit road and have a very solid pit stop for all 3 of these drivers, it could work out. As Cody Dorsey actually is trying to get out of the way, but John Ganas, Brian Whitcomb not helping each other for coming off pit road. All 2 tires of fuel only for most of these drivers that just came out pit road. As there's Sean Bowen. Let's really wish Sean Bowen. They jumped the rest of the field there, but there's Cameron Craighead coming off pit road as they are very spread out. Derek Riley, as there's the next car back as Cody Pruitt. Derek Riley, Cameron Craighead, very good pit road as Alex Bonsignor and Eric Edwards down pit road as Eric Edwards maybe fixes the damage. I don't know what's. As he is 2 laps down, he does not have a penalty. But Alex Bonsignor serving that black flag, but Cody Dorsey down pit road now as he was that lap car by himself. But when the rest of the field come down pit road, and here they come. So the race leaders, how would they cycle out here? As just make sure you don't want to overstep. Don't want to overstep this line. You see John Ganas really taking a very conservative entry. He's falling a lot back, and that might hurt him. As they're going to have to check up for a pit road speed here. So they all get it slowed down. Yes, they did. Keith Long stays out of the racetrack. He's all by himself. I think he's just hoping for a caution at this point. But Cameron Craighead, he'll come across the line here. He'll get his lap back. So Cameron Craighead back on the lead lap. Actually, no, he's still 1 lap down. Because all these drivers are another lap. We'll see. Oh, actually, no, he's back on the lead lap compared to the field. As for Keith Long stayed on the racetrack. But John Ganas out in front. Jumps those drivers, but let's see where Cameron Craighead, where he cycled, coming off turn 4. Derek Riley, Cameron Craighead had a very good pit stop. They're all by themselves out in front. But where is Jason Bottoms, Dakota Bly? Where they're going to come out is there's Dakota Bly, there's Jason Bottoms, Cameron Craighead, and Derek Riley. Just how good of a pit stop they had compared to everybody else. They actually took maybe, I think they only took 2 tires or fuel only, because everyone else took 4 tires. And now they are way out in front of the field. They're not in second, but Derek Riley sitting there in second. Dakota Bly, the next driver with Jason Bottoms, They are 6 seconds back, and they're only a 2-car pack. Cody Pruitt is 5 seconds back as that pit stops have really shook up this field, and this might work out for Cameron Craig and Derek Riley. A very good pit stop, a very strategized pit stop, and now that is going to let them able to get out in front big time, and now they are 6 seconds ahead, 7 seconds now from the pack behind. So we'll see how this works out. Maybe the drivers behind maybe get together? But I mean, Cody Pruitt, Alex Bonsignor got that penalty. Brian Whitcomb all by himself, as that really shook up the field big time, and we're really just 2-car tandems here with 20 laps to go. As Keith Long still staying out of the racetrack, hoping for caution. As there he goes, as he's now coming off pit road now. As Cameron Craig will take the race lead off of turn number 2. It's coming to 20 laps to go this time by, and it's going to be between Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley, most likely for this race. Lynn, we still have a while to go. Could still see a caution. That's now John Ganas. He lost a lot of time on pit road. We'll see how well they can catch up, as now they have Cody Dorsey up in line. Checking this pack of 3. Can they chase down the 2-car tandem out in front? We'll have to see. First, we're going to do a little bit of element, crank it up here for race number 2 of the night. Welcome back from our Crank It Up segment. Is now with 14 to go. You start to see that gap start to close between Derek Riley and Dakota Bly. It's now down to 5.2 seconds. It is working out as now they picked up John Ganas, as well as John Ganas was not able to stick with Cameron Craig and Derek Riley, but also Cody Pruitt around 6.8 seconds as this pack of 4 needs to try and catch this pack of 4 up in front of them a little bit quicker if they want a chance at this race win. They're both gaining the same on the race leader. They're honestly kind of staying around the same lap times. Let's take a look between. We'll compare these gaps between Dakota Bly. Dakota Bly are leader of this second pack here, and our leader of our third pack of Cody Pruitt. Bring that up here in just 1 second. Let's see those last 3 laps compared between those two packs. That gap is 6.6 seconds. As that second pack is about a 10th faster per lap, but that's not going to be enough. Only with 6.5 second gap, with only 12 to go. Have to start picking up a lot more time. Just not going to work out. But 0.2 faster again, but still just so much time to gain to catch this pack. But let's take a look at our gap between Derek Riley and Dakota Bly. As there's our gap between our race leaders. As last time by, they've kind of been tapering off just a little bit, 2-3 tenths faster per lap, but the last two only been about 10th and a tenth and a half. So we'll see what they are this time by, but they got 4.7 seconds. If they can get within about 1 second, they're going to get there, but if they can get within 1 second of a gap, 1 second, they'll have that draft and be able to close in a little bit quicker. But really, it's only 2 cars that can fight for the win in that pack. So see this time by as we'll go to the Dakota Bly. That time by, only half a tenth faster. That's not going to be enough. They need to work a little bit better. It's Jason Bottoms, Dakota Bly. They have Cody Dorsey right behind them, but this unsettling is not happening, not helping them to get back going. But still a while to go, 10 to go. Could still see a caution. A lot of stuff can happen. But Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley. That makes sense. They caught the back end. They shot Sean Bowen. Eric Edwards and Sean Bowen goes around. He's great save from Sean Bowen. Can he keep it together? And that explained why they started to lose a little bit more time. They caught that lap pack, but now that just hurt them even more. That was going to hurt Dakota Bly and Jason Bottoms. They were able to tag along. Let's take a look what happened there. Yeah, Sean Bowen just trying to get out of the way. Gets clear, comes out in front of Eric Edwards. And that's not going to help him, but Cameron Craighead, can Brian Whitcomb tag along? I think he can. But that was helping that pack of 2. They were catching that lap pack. And that was able to slow them down. I was able to speed them up a little bit and slow this gap down. And brings the gap back up to 5 seconds. But 5 seconds, and I don't know if it's going to be enough. I think it's really going to be between Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley as Brian Whitcomb has locked on to this lead pack. As Sean Bowen, a great save. If he spun that out, we were going to a very chaotic finish, but it's really spread out between Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley. These two keeping it together very well. Now the gap 4.6 seconds. Dakota Bly trying to bring this gap back in. It's just not working. Not working yet. This last time by, 1/10 faster, just too little, too late. It might be, but a tenth and a half is just not going to be enough. Coming to 5 to go this time by. The gap's down to 4.7. They're trying to work that gap, trying to close it in. It's just not working. The tip's probably getting a little bit too high for those drivers behind. Now it's 5 seconds. As the gap for the second pack, it's not close. It's closed just a little bit, only a couple tenths. It's only down to 5.8 seconds, but we'll have some battles within these packs. But really, for the race win, it's going to be Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley with 5 to go. It's really just going to be these 2 drivers. They're just hoping these 2 can get back to the white flag. But Brian Whitcomb, just the lap car, kind of tagging along. He pretty much controls who wins this race. Derek Riley tries to make a move on Cameron Craighead, and Brian Whitcomb wants to stick with Craighead. Craighead's going to win this race, but Brian Whitcomb kind of laying off the back here. He's just trying to stay out of this battle. These 2 maybe end up wrecking each other. Just doesn't want to get involved. Just wants to get by it and clear. And get back in the lead lap, because Brian Whitcomb, if there was a caution, he will need the free pass. But really, if we're going to get a caution, it's going to come from this third pack, but they have the most cars, most likely. Most likely come from the most cars. The pack with the most cars in it. So now that gap is equalized between the second pack and the first pack, and the second pack and the third pack. So they're both about 5.2 seconds. As this second pack's really starting to close that gap in. They're at a 4.8, but it's just a little bit too late. This is really only Dakota Bly and Jason Bottles fighting for positions here. It's actually Eric Edwards, John Ganas. They're fighting Cody Dorsey as well. So Cody Dorsey, he's only fighting Alex Fonser, which is the second pack, but John Ganas and Eric Edwards 2 laps down. They're fighting for 11th in this pack. But out front, it's Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley with a beautiful pit stop execution for both of these drivers, able to separate themselves from the field. And now they're going to be dueling it out for the win for tonight's race. As they're going to have Ryan Whitcomb, the lap car, 1 lap down, right behind him. But 1 lap to go here from Atlanta. A perfect executed pit stop from Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley. But who will pick up the win? Cameron Craighead and Derek Riley in the exact same spot they were in race number 1 tonight. Can Derek Riley, can he work better? Can he do it better this time? Will he learn the lessons he learned from race 1? And can he apply them here for race 2? And maybe pick off the win from Cameron Craighead? He's going to move to the outside, side by side. They're going to side drive, coming to the line. And Derek Riley, he's going to pick up the win for race number 2. We're going to go back to the battle for P3. It's going to be Jason Bottoms, Dakota Bly at the line. Dakota Bly will pick up 3rd. Jason Bottoms 4th. And Cody Pruitt will get over over Kyle Schmitz there, as Eric Edwards will be behind John Ganas for 11th. But Derek Riley perfectly played that last lap, learned what he saw in the race number 1 of that green white checkered, and he applied it perfectly, and he got the win, able to steal it away from Cameron Craighead. And our top 2 finishers from race number 1 are the same, just inverted for race number 2. A great drive and a very dominant performance for both races tonight for Derek Riley and Cameron Craighead. As Derek Riley will burn it down, as Cameron Craighead burning it down from his race 1 win earlier. I think he had a chance to do that with how the session was set up. But Derek Riley, a great drive, and he will pick up the race, and he wins the race tonight. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back here with our top 3 interviews here from Atlanta.
Hey guys, this is Kevin from KK Woodscapes, and we just wanted to say how excited we are to be sponsoring the Undisputed Cup Series this season for the championship trophy. And also, we are looking forward to working with you guys. Hopefully, we can bring your virtual victories into reality this season. And you can reach out to me on Discord, or you can scan the QR code below, and it'll take you to our Instagram page where you can see all the work we've done over the years. Thank you guys, and good luck this season.
Welcome back here to Atlanta as we just wrapped up our second race of our doubleheader for tonight's double play 195. Before we get to our top leaders, let's take a quick look at our results for tonight's race number 2. Derek Riley able to pick up the win, Cameron Craig in second. The inverse order of what we saw in race number 1 tonight. Dakota Bly able to pick up third, Jason Bottoms in fourth, Cody Pruitt rounds out our top 5, Kyle Schmitz in sixth, Keith Long in seventh, Brian Whitcomb in eighth, Cody Dorsey in ninth, Alex Bonsior rounds out our top 10, John Ganas finishing 11th, and Eric Edwards 12th, Sean Bowen in 13th, Kelly Walton in 14th, Gigi Moore in 15th, and Brandon Coots rounds out our 16-car field for race number 2 tonight. As you're kind of seeing on the screen here, but coming off turn 4, Derek Riley able to learn what he saw from in race number 1, able to pick up the win here in race number 2. How's it feel to get this race win? Oh, I think he might be AFK again. See if we'll pick him up. We'll bring in Cameron Craighead here for second really quickly. So Cameron Craighead from second, able to pick up a very solid second place finish after the race win earlier tonight. But what do you think you could have differently there to maybe pick up a second race win tonight?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things you can do at the end. Hindsight's 2020. I could have gone up and blocked him or door banged him at the end. Maybe got his momentum down, or I could have picked up a lapped card so he wouldn't have momentum. But it's all right. That race was really clean, and I'll take up good points. We got to win in the end of the day. It's a great race, and really impressed with how Derek raced and all the other guys tonight.
Yeah, and you're able to get second. It was just a fight between you and Derek at the line. Just a very perfectly executed pit stop. And just how are you able to get that perfect executed pit stop there? And just how important was that pit road and that pit stop there tonight?
Yeah, with Atlanta's mandatory entrance at turn 3, you gotta go slow. But it's all about how far are you willing to push it. And I was okay pushing it more because I didn't have as much to lose. He got second in the first race, but I already had to win, so it was all or nothing for me. So I was willing to go all the way, but it stuck, and we were out in front, and but at the end of the day, I'll still take it second place.
And you very good, solid finishes for you tonight. But before I send you off on your way, any sponsors link for tonight's win in second place?
Yeah, I'll thank Cavalier Racing, Race Labs, my family, everybody who watches, supports, the broadcasters, thanks for this, and the league owners for hosting it.
All right, once again, congrats on your race win earlier tonight and your second place finish tonight here as well. We'll see you, good luck in. We'll see you next. In a couple weeks, I believe we're off next week, but we'll see you in next race, which will be Watkins Glen, so road course.
All right, see you then. Thank you.
So that was our second place finisher of Cameron Craighead. We'll bring in our third place finisher of Dakota Bly before we get back to our race winner of Derek Riley. But Dakota Bly able to pick up a solid third place run tonight as a very unconventional super speedway finish. The pit stops just all separated. That field stretched it out very big there. Just what do you think you could have done differently to maybe lose a little bit less time on that pit stop and maybe try and chase down, be in that lead pack for the win?
Honestly, we took like 4 tires on the last stop. We knew that the leaders were going to take 2 but we thought maybe that the tire advantage would help us, but it really didn't do much at all. That's really the only thing we could have done differently. Maybe pit road entries and stuff, but we had a good group of cars. We just couldn't kind of break that barrier.
Yeah, and a four tire versus a two tire strategy definitely different. And normally we kind of see that in the day. That could make a pretty big difference with tire wear. But just with the night, how do you think that affected the tire wear tonight? And just how did that tire wear feel compared to normally what we normally see in the daytime here at Atlanta?
I don't race a ton at Atlanta, but I feel like the tire wear definitely wasn't anything that was much of a difference by the end of it. But that first race was so chaotic. We really didn't get the chance to get what I felt would have been a good idea of how tires were wearing out, because it seems like we were under caution, every few laps there. So I didn't get a great run.
Yeah, but still a very solid third place finish for you tonight to end off your night. But before we send you off on the way, any sponsors that you think for tonight's third place run?
Well, obviously, I want to thank our title sponsors. They help us be able to make this league happen. So, Quantum has been great to me personally, and with the league, I appreciate them. Burlington Cafe, they've done a lot for us, as well as KK Woodscapes. And then I'd like to thank my personal sponsors, Okaya, Quantum again, and Recycle Records, for allowing me to kind of do a one-off type scheme, in support of the Carolina Hurricanes for the sports-themed race.
And once again, congrats on your third place finish tonight. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Watkins Glen.
Awesome, thank you.
So that was our third place finisher of Dakota Bly. We'll bring in our race winner of Derek Riley. We'll see if he's back now, as he was able to pick up the pole earlier tonight and able to pick up a very solid second place finish earlier in race number 1. But you're able to kind of learn what you learned from race number 1 and able to translate that here into race number 2. How are you able to get it done?
Yeah, I knew running up front early that second race, I knew that passing stuff there, and of course no one expected no cautions, but I knew there'd have to be a little bit of pit strategy played into it. So luckily me and Cam kind of planned together for a two-tire stop, and ultimately that got us a 6-second lead after the pit cycle, so it all worked out.
Yeah, that was a very perfectly executed pit strategy and pit stop from both of you out in front, and you're able to just fight it out between each other, and both of you finished 1-2 tonight. It just inverted in both races, so very good momentum for both of you going into the next race at Watkins Glen. So how are you going to build this momentum going into 2 weeks at Watkins Glen and just kind of build that momentum through the rest of the regular season?
Honestly, I'm going to be going on vacation for Watkins Glen, which is one of my favorite road courses, so kind of bummed about that, but luckily, hopefully the win will lock me into the playoffs. So
yeah, but we'll see how that works out. But very solid points night for you with both of these races, and gonna really rocket you up in the points, hopefully for your case. But before we send you off on the way, any sponsors would you like to thank for tonight's race win?
yeah, like the last time, Quantum Bearings for putting this deal on, KK Woodscapes, Burlington Cafe, all my teammates, Cody, Dakota, Scott, and I got to thank Cam for that pit strategy. That was kind of what sealed the deal for both of us, really. So thank him for that.
And once again, congrats on your second place and win tonight here from Atlanta, and we'll see you in a couple of races.
All right, we'll see us.
So that was our race winner of Derek Riley. It's very solid race finishes for multiple of those drivers tonight. But as mentioned, it's coming to, next race will be in 2 weeks at Watkins Glen. So a little bit of a off week for next week, Memorial Day weekend coming up here from, and also real life a very, very greatest day in motorsports on Sunday. So a lot of all of our leagues pretty much taking a break. So our next race coming up next here on the Legends Racing Network. We'll have Wednesday night. We'll have the Superstar Art Cup. Then we're going to Indianapolis at 8:15 Eastern Time. And then we'll have the Inter Cup Series. They'll be back that next Friday at May 30th at Charlotte at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And then we'll have the 5 Points Race League Turkey Network Solution Series. They'll be back on June 2nd at Talladega for their regular season finale. The Undisputed Cup Series. They'll be back for June 5th. At Watkins Glen, so 2 weeks from now, and on that next Sunday, on June 8th, we'll be back for the Stampede Racing League Choo-Choo Spider Premier Series at Iowa at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So once again, thank you all for tuning in for tonight's unique format of a doubleheader. It was definitely very exciting. Saw a very clean race and a very interesting race with a lot of caution strategy, but it was very fun races. Both races tonight, very fun and exciting to watch, and I hope everyone enjoyed to watch them. But I'm Aaron Brown, signing off from here from Atlanta. We'll see you next time here on the Legends Racing Network.